Because of this, these properties lend themselves to become small private hotels and bed and breakfast guest houses. On our left lies Victoria Park, laid out to celebrate the Diamond Jubilee of Queen Victoria's 60 years on the throne. Queen Victoria was a much respected monarch, and wherever you travel in the world you will find various references to her. Australia has the State of Victoria, Zimbabwe has the famous falls, British Columbia has the city of Victoria, and as you travel around England you will come across various statues, monuments and references to her. As we come to the end of the houses, here on our left-hand side, you will see the site of Old Sarum, the first city of Salisbury. Old Sarum is an Iron Age building, with its origins going back to between 600 years BC and 43 AD. This is a defensive hill fort, constructed from a natural hill, with the ditches and banks dug out by hand. The ditches are at least 15 feet deep, with the banks each wide. On the lower banks we have the Iron Age defences, and on the second level we built a cathedral in the first city of Salisbury, whilst on the top level the castle was built for William. The stone for this building was imported from Caen in France. In 1086 William gathered his principal nobles to Old Sarum to demand that they swear an oath of allegiance to him. This is known as the Salisbury Oath. It is here that he took possession of the Domesday, the first survey of the properties, livestock, the peoples, every serf and every plough throughout the kingdom. This site was abandoned because of lack of fresh water supplies and growing tension between the churchmen and the military. It was also claimed that the whiteness of the chalk was giving the scribes the form of blindness, so the idea of moving down to the valley of the skyscrapers was deemed to be difficult. As we go over the rise, the best view of Old Sarum is if you look back over your left shoulder. This will give you some idea of the size of the site, which is approximately 2 miles around the base and is about 20 acres in size. You may also like to know that this site is not new, because the stone from the first cathedral and the castle was reused to build a close wall around the present-day cathedral.
Stonehenge, and I'm shortly going to be turning the camera around to have the first look. Alrighty, here we go. Wow. Really, really, really cool. It's actually not quite as big as I imagined it. Is that bad for me to say that? It's a bit smaller than I imagined. I was expecting like, whoa, massive, but it's actually, and I thought there's actually more restrictions to it. Like I thought there was a big fence, but there's not, so it's good I can get nice and close and take some really good pictures. What I'm gonna do now. Okay, I don't think that first recording worked. I'm back in London, I've had some dinner, and now I'm about to go and see Spamalot, which is my second of 4 shows this week for Austria. And I've been waiting to see Spamalot for years and years and years, because it was in Australia, but it was in Melbourne, where it flopped. So for some stupid reason they thought it would flop in Sydney, which it wouldn't have, it would have been a hit. There you go, seeing it on the West End, even better. Okay, my verdict on Spamalot. It was awesomely awesome. They'd obviously hammed it up to be like the cheesiest possible musical you would possibly watch. And it had all the elements of, oh yeah, spoiler alert. It had all the, yeah, spoiler alert, just saying that a few times in case you haven't seen it, and I don't know why I'm doing this, but, you know, in case you haven't seen it and you don't want to know the next thing I'm about to say. Okay, so spoiler alert, it is, cover your ears and do this, la 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 la, if you don't want to know, but it's kind of like, it's pretty much Monty Python and the Holy Grail, but in musical format. And it was all really good. The Lady of the Lakes / Guinevere was friggin' fantastic. She had the best voice. My only one little drawback I found was that they left, like, Bedivere almost had nothing to do for for the whole thing, which sucked. He was just kind of a character that just existed and didn't actually do anything, although, like, because one of my favourite bits, when they're trying to figure out if the woman's a witch, and they end up weighing her next to a duck. Like, I think that's one of my favourite bits in the whole movie. And I don't think they had that in there, although I could be wrong, because I'm either jet lagged or I'm cramming too much in my day and I'm extraordinarily tired, but I did maybe fall asleep for a tiny bit of the show. But I'm tired and jet lagged. So I don't know, maybe they did have that bit in there, but not in my experience. Yeah, awesome show. And I'm going to do something out of character once again and get the tube. Not because it's actually going to save me any walking whatsoever, but it's a slightly quicker trip back home, back to the hotel. Man, I'm buggered. I can't believe I'm getting up and doing a whole big day again tomorrow. And shows every night. Eyes falling out of head. Okay. Yeah.